Hi guys, and welcome back to Honey We're Home. I'm Caroline Crawford Patterson.
And I'm Nicole Pellegrino.
This episode is called Being an Adult Sucks Ass because we have had quite the time of it lately.
Yeah. No, we really have been faced with adulthood.
I mean,
the universe said September's here, time to grow the F up.
It was really unpleasant for me. I thought turning 30, I was like, And now I'm like, this. No, but 2024 just sucks as a year. I told John last night, I was like this year needs to be over tomorrow.
I have a theory that I've talked about this before. The even years aren't as good as the odd ones.
Oh my God, because 2022 also sucked for me.
Yeah, 2022 was not it.
I said
2021 was my year.
Yeah, I loved
2021 was my year.
2020 COVID. 2021 was such a good year.
Yeah, so 2025, buckle in.
Wow, my parents actually just texted me that they lost power from the hurricane. That sucks.
Oh,
have you seen that? I hope everybody's cool.
Safe out there.
Yeah.
Buckle down. So wait, yeah, I feel like we have to give an update because this has to do with adulting on the house searching, the apartment searching, should we say, not house yet. I keep talking to
your house, your home, whatever. It's your home. You're searching for a home.
You know what? That is so true because I'm turning this next apartment into a home.
I always have done that. And now what I will say, and maybe this is more applicable than I think it is, so many of my friends own houses. So I feel like sometimes I'm the only one renting. But I know a lot of us are whatever. I couldn't afford to buy a house if I wanted to. My mom always said, though, when we would move, as a kid, you've been through this too. You move states or you move cities. My mom was it's never a house, it's a home. You go home where anything can be a home. Home is where your family is. A house is just four walls. And so I feel like you can turn anything into a home. Growing up, my dad always lived in apartments. My stepmom would always make it a home. You can do anything.
Yeah. But home decor wise, I want to make this next apartment feel homey. Somebody DM'd me yesterday, a fellow Hoboken girly, and she sent me before and afters of her apartment.
Okay.
And she goes, this simple thing made my house feel or my apartment.
Was it paint?
It was. Actually, yes, it was paint, but also molding.
And the molding.
And I was like, wait, it did such a difference. I was like, the wall
Everyone
molding.
should do it. But I do think you go home every day, right? Or you want to. Home is a sense of safety, security, warmth, comfort.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time.
So you've got to make your house a home. If you have an apartment, I don't care if someone else owns it. Spend time making it a home.
Also, you'll love this. I saw a TikTok that this girl was like, I hate when people say don't spend on furniture and don't spend on things in your apartment. This apartment is practice for my home one day. I'm just gonna put effort in, not necessarily always spend because we don't all have the money to buy a table from CB2 or whatever. But put effort in because it's literally practice for your dream home.
And also a tip for the furniture thing is find the manufacturer. CB2 does not manufacture their stuff. It's made by different designers and manufacturers, and then other places sell the exact product for less. For example, our dining table, I know CB2 sells a version of it. Right. I found the manufacturer and I bought it for $500 less on a different site that also sold it. CB2 just marks it up. So but everyone does that.
That's a hack.
I'm not to say everyone, but generally that's
smart.
Yeah,
Brooke was also saying she was just instead of ordering a nice table from CB2, find an outlet near you.
Yeah.
Rent a U-Haul and go to the outlet because not only will it be cheaper, it will come faster because when you order,
it takes a long
furniture,
time.
It takes forever.
I do generally believe on not buying anything full price. I'm
gonna really try not to. Facebook Marketplace.
I love Facebook Marketplace. You find the best stuff. You don't want your stuff to look like everyone else's. But I agree with you. If don't the kind of law of don't buy a nice couch because you don't know what will fit in your next apartment. I don't agree with. I would rather keep hunting for an apartment that fits my nice couch because I sit on that couch 365 days out of the year.
Right.
And you know what? I actually don't know how long it's going to be until I have a house or buy a home. And I don't want to find myself at 42 being here I am on my 14th IKEA couch spending just as much, probably more at that point, if I would have on one nice couch, put a little more work in, Find an apartment that fits your couch because you have your furniture. You take it with you.
Right.
Stop
it's
with the consumerism.
As like not wearing your clothes. Like when you're like, oh, I need to save this outfit for something. It's like, just wear the damn outfit. And my
or people not using their china. Use your nice dishes.
Just you never know. You could die.
Use your
tomorrow.
stuff. You bought it. It's yours. Use it. You live once. You deserve nice things. If you have nice things, use them.
And my philosophy is keep it in good condition. You can sell it on Facebook Marketplace for close to what you got it for.
I've bought couches from Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I did once. It was scary.
Mine was fine. I had it for years, and then we got our nice couch. It's all a high-low situation.
Yeah.
But I never wanted to be like, I'm going to buy this $1,200 couch from IKEA because that's still expensive. I'd rather buy a $300 couch from Facebook Marketplace and then in 3 years buy a West Elm couch on sale, like which I did, huge discount, and then like have that forever and work around it because whatever, like yeah. I mean, you don't need to buy new things for everywhere you live. Also, by the way, just buy stuff you love and it comes with you.
Bob the Builder DIY. Tell them quickly if they haven't seen your TikToks because you're showing all the apartments that you've looked at, which is honestly such a fascinating thing. I like went on a scrolling.
Did you watch
They were long. So a lot of them were long. So I like, but in the best way. Like if you have time, it's like the Who Did I Marry series. If you have time, go to Caroline.
Well, they're only like a minute and a half, the longest.
Oh, well, my attention span is a goldfish.
Mine too.
So, but no, they're honestly like fascinating. And I think your search is relatable because you guys are trying to save money. And so is mine. I mean, I live in Hoboken, so that's relatable right there. If we, our next place, if it was in Manhattan, we just simply could not afford it. But your search is relatable because you're not one of those influencers who's getting a 3-bedroom apartment magically, like looking over the entire city with a view of Central Park, like.
Listen,
I
one
hope
day
that for you.
Yeah. Listen, one day I really hope to have that. Yeah. But like being real, John is in a job that pays off over time. You know? Like like I think a lot of us are in those situations like he's in a really good place in his job. It pays off over time. Like he has to stick with it. We all have to like work to like have that time like in the future or whatever. So he's in a job that pays off over time. Like I make more money than I made when I was at Wells Fargo, but like I didn't live in New York when I was at Wells Fargo. Like we have a very normal budget for all of our other friends in New York. Totally. You know what I mean? I hope that I can get like the huge 3-bedroom Tribeca apartment, please, like really. But right now we have to save money so that if we ever want to afford
New York is not okay. Like I told my dad our rent last night on the phone and he was like, Nicole, that's a mortgage for a 6-bedroom house.
We had to tell John's parents too because I don't think they knew how much. It's kind of crappy because you spend a lot of money on rent and New York makes you feel like that's not enough because the average 1-bedroom price in the Upper West Side is like $4,200 a month, which I just think that's stupid, and more in the West Village. I've looked at like 20 apartments so far. Long story short, like we're looking to spend less money so that we can actually start saving because again, like being an adult literally sucks. Like this is so freaking unfortunate. We need to start saving. Like we can't keep effing around. Eventually we're not going to be able to like travel anymore. We're not going to be able to have a baby. I don't want to be 36 like wow, I couldn't have a baby because I couldn't save, or I had to move out of New York to have a baby because I was so irresponsible that I like couldn't get my crap together. So I've looked at like 20 apartments. Most of them like it's pushed us more to the Upper West Side, even though I'm between us two guys, I'm like, I'm coming back for you for the West Village. And John like knows that. I'm like, I'm coming back.
And I feel like people are asking you like, why not leave the city? Why not go into Brooklyn or Jersey City or Hoboken? And I mean, if it were up to me, we all know I would live in Manhattan. Like I would, but it's me compromising with my husband living in Hoboken, and we have our car and we have our our dog. Yeah. And we're closer to family. Like Hoboken right now in our lives just makes sense. Not to say we'll never live in Manhattan. My plan is to get like really rich, like me, the one getting really rich, not even Mike. So I can just be like, we're all moving to Manhattan and we're all going to have a car. Yeah. Like my plan is to get really rich so I don't even have to like worry about things. Yeah. And I know that's probably yours too, but
my plan is for like John to get really rich and then for me to like kind of like fuck about and get really rich, but like
like both, ideally both, but in like a different
like in a
Mike,
different path. Like I'm like
Mike, you could just be along for the ride. What the hell is wrong with me?
My plan is like if I fail, like it's like cool because John already.
Yeah, like ideally ideally all of us, including you guys listening, we all get rich, but we're also Delulu. So what would be your answer to that? Like why your justification? Not that you have to justify, but also like you kind of do.
Yeah, I can rant this off really quickly.
Yeah, be quick.
I waited like 10 years to live in, I waited like my whole life to live in New York. Mm-hmm. We finally moved to New York. We've been here for 3 years. I'm like, I don't live in Manhattan to not live in Manhattan. Like for me, like living in New York, like the joy is living in New York. All of the bad stuff, I'm your video gaslighting myself into loving like New York. Yeah. All the bad stuff to me is so worth it because I love stepping outside and like literally being in the middle of it. Like I don't crave the daily escape from the city. I enjoy it.
Why not Brooklyn then? Because
Brooklyn isn't off the table. I think the easiest thing to say to this is we were going to be in our apartment for a fourth year. We love being in the West Village. We're not over the neighborhood yet. We still feel like we're experiencing our time in that neighborhood. We have to move a little sooner. Mm-hmm. So like Brooklyn is something that's always been on the table for us when we start having kids.
Well, also
we're just not there yet.
Remembered John goes into the Manhattan office how many days a week?
No, 5.
Yeah.
So like John goes to work downtown on the west side 5 days a week.
See, Mike works from home, like, yeah, and chooses when, and the homebody that he is, I'm like, go into the fucking office, go show face. And he's like, okay, like once every other week, and that's because I'm like, you need to go the fuck in. But like the other sellers he works with and stuff, they're in like North Carolina, wherever. Yeah. And he has to travel and do other stuff.
No, I'm not saying that it's not doable to live elsewhere. John has so many teammates that don't live like, you know, close by.
No, however, that is a factor though.
Huge
like,
factor.
If Mike went in every day, we'd probably.
There's something for both of us here. Like currently, John sometimes jogs to work and then works out when he gets there. It's like a 15-minute jog for him. So it's like that's his workout. It takes him 7 minutes to bike to work, and it takes him 17 minutes on the train. So commute is a big deal. I saw some places in Brooklyn I liked. It was literally, it went up to like a 45, 50-minute commute for him both ways either day.
See, that's a lot.
He gets home at like 7:45 p.m. already. So then to say, okay, wait, now that's going to be closer to 9. I just am not ready for that yet. The second thing is I do work from home, but go to like different meetings or recordings or events throughout the day. Being able to go home throughout the day, I really, really value. And being able to like, because I work alone, work with other people.
You end up coming from me, because I do that too. Like I'll film some videos in the morning in the city, and then I'll have a recording, and then I'll have a gap of time, and then an event I have to go to. And I used to have like the Betches office where I would just go. Since I literally don't work there anymore, I can't just pop on in. So I'm like, okay, I end up spending money because then you have to find a coffee shop, and then you feel like an asshole if you're not buying anything.
Thank you so much, because it actually took me weeks to explain this to John and be like, I'm not, I for the record, I want to stay in Manhattan. I enjoy Manhattan, but I was like, I'm not making this up. This is a real reason. I was like, if our goal is to save money, it doesn't save money. Between having to take myself out to eat for lunch because I can't go home for lunch, sit at coffee shops to work, I already spend so much money doing that just to get out of the house. I live still in Manhattan. I'm like, I had to stop doing that to cut back on expenses. Like, I can't imagine how much that would be if I actually didn't have time to go home between stuff.
I also spend an arm and a leg in transportation. Mike's argument to that, he's like, take the shuttle to the path and then path. And yes, unreliable. Do I do that sometimes? Sure. But a girl loves an Uber, and sometimes my treating myself moment isn't even like buying a designer bag. It's not buying, well, that's a lie. It's buying new clothes, that's for sure. But like, I'd rather, instead of get a blowout, I have a friend who gets a blowout once a week to treat herself.
No, you've said this before.
I don't
treat
do that.
yourself by getting Ubers.
My treating myself is giving myself a car, and that, it adds up. It adds up.
I mean, I've had to do the Hoboken commute a few times through Uber. It's super unpleasant. The Ubers don't want to take you into the city. They kick you out of the car. It takes forever. The path comes once every 15 minutes.
Okay.
No, I know. I mean, that I'm just saying that if our goal is to save money, like whatever we would be saving in rent, I literally do not Uber here. You know this. I take you on the subway every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't hate the subway.
That's not a con.
The path is nicer than the subway, and you can't argue that.
The path gives me extreme anxiety. I don't like being underwater.
The path is so nice. I forgot we're underwater. Wait, okay, no, we got to move on really because...
But anyways, those are the reasons, and we're still hunting.
And you haven't found an apartment.
No, I currently almost got one. I was working with the owner of it to, like, fix it up, and he actually scammed the F out of me. Like, I did multiple meetings with this guy. I did an entire, Nikki calls it a Bob the Builder worksheet. I presented it to him in person, like through virtual presentations, Excel spreadsheets.
You spent a whole day on this.
That was the third day I spent. Like that was the third presentation. And he came back and was like, here's the concession, I offer you. And it was the literal market rent price that was already too high. Like, he already can't rent it because he thinks people should pay more for the unit than it's worth. I'm like, well, you just wasted all of my time.
Yeah, no, you're getting involved with these like crazy landlords that it's like annoying, but it's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, like
until
they bait and switch you. But I think like it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna fall into place eventually. I know I told you this the other day. It's stressful, but you just have to leave it to God.
I know John and I keep saying this, and he's like, do we end up staying? And that's a whole different story. And I'm like,
I think you should.
Yeah, but they can't, like, the whole point is to spend less on rent, not more.
True.
Like, I don't really want to accept the
keep us
next $200
because
increase.
We're all very captivated at this moving saga.
Yeah, that is the thing. Is that that's what it's like for all of us moving in New York now, in the past, in the future, the broker's fee,
it's very similar in Hoboken. Mm-hmm. And just to give you guys an exciting update, Mike and I officially, as of yesterday, we're recording this in advance, but we officially signed our lease. It got approved somehow, some way, because there was some hiccups. But so we got a new apartment. It's a full 2-bed, 2-bath in Hoboken. Once again, that's how we can afford this. We can barely afford it too. We actually didn't really like fully do our budget, but whatever. We're going to make it work. And I mean, for an apartment, it's huge. I'm just so excited to have space. It's with our
beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a loft. It's a 2-story. It's like, it really does feel like more of a home. I'm just so excited to have stairs. Like, that way we can like kind of get away from each other, Like, I'm excited to see Louis running up and down the stairs. It's with our same management company of the building we're in now. So that's why it was like easier than this one search over here, because that was our compromise. Like, I wanted a cutesy little like brownstone-y, not a brownstone, but like, a cute little like some of the ones you were looking at like were that. Yeah.
And that's great, and it's worth it for me to put that work in to find that, but like it also comes with its price. Like, for example, we're in that right now, and me going to management saying, what else do you have? That's not a real ask, because I live in a unit that has like a building that's 5 units total. It's an individual brownstone. That's all they're not going to just switch me to something.
Right. So our building is literally right next to the one we live in now, which is like so convenient. We're still going to get movers for the big stuff. But I'm so glad we don't have to change Louis' routine. He still has all of his spots. Like, truly, my life is centered around this dog. This move was really a compromise between me and Mike because, as you know, like I just said, I was looking at all these different places still in Hoboken, but like a cute to other like place with a backyard and stuff. And Mike was the logical, realistic one. And he was just like, I do not want to put $20,000 down up front with the broker's fee, breaking our lease early because it's not up till March.
And that's how much it costs.
A new security deposit, a new everything. Like this way, we like still have all of our amenities. But I really am actually going to put effort into it. I said on Instagram yesterday, I was like, it's not that I'm bad at like horrible at interior design. I'm no like interior designer by any means. I have no training, but like I can pick out cute stuff.
Yeah.
It's just been that every apartment we've lived in, it's just felt like a temporary thing. Like, we know we're going to upgrade in a year. I've been too lazy to really even like put stuff up on the walls. Mike didn't let me get the nice blinds in this last one. I had a meltdown in Home Depot. It's been like that. So this apartment, I finally feel where I'm at a place where I can invest both a little bit of money, but like my time and like my energy in it now that I don't have my full-time job.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to do that.
Okay, so there are like some bad stuff about adulting right now, but also good things. Like good things are coming of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still stressful.
Okay, so the reason that we really decided to do this episode was kind of based on this stuff, but it just feels like everyone we're talking to, it's like a rough month to be an adult. And part of being an adult is like silently eating shit. Like we all eat different shit and we all do it like silently. Like you don't complain about it because no one's having a good day. Yeah. And so we were like, this is going to be a good place to just dump it all out because no one's sitting here and judging us. And then we can just like air out like all of the dirty laundry. I personally feel like unprepared to be, you know, an adult. Like I'm in my like actually finally being able to be like a kid era, and it's coming at a very terrible time for me because it's also at the time when being an adult is required of me by age and responsibility. Yeah. Okay, so what we did.
Fuck, marry, kill, baby.
Yeah. So what we did is we asked all of you guys what your least favorite part of adulting is right now, and we arranged it into a game of fuck, marry, kill. So these are the rules. Fuck is the problem that you can handle but never want to have to deal with again. Marry is the problem that you could live the longest with. And kill is the problem that has the highest likelihood of driving you clinically insane.
Okay.
A true game for intellectuals.
Yeah, like this is a way to make like the depressing adulting stuff more fun.
Like childish, actually.
Yeah.
Good for us. Okay.
The first one is fuck, marry, kill. Never having a summer again. Constantly worrying about how you'll be able to retire, or no longer being, quote, young.
Marry no longer being young. Because like I can get over that. Kill never having a summer again. That is actually the crappiest thing none of us saw coming.
I used to say that.
Oh, but now that we work for ourselves, you can't say
like
it.
Now life is summer.
Okay, but the thing is that if I had known that there would come a time when I would not ever have a time where I didn't need to like work or make money.
Like your first year out of college when you're in that job and summer comes and all the kids are being let out and you're just like, oh fuck, so this is it? Yeah.
That's when that post-grad depression really hits. Like I had friends that didn't start their jobs until after the summer after college, and I'm like, why did I not do that?
I started in the middle.
I literally immediately moved like to Charlotte, and I don't know what I was thinking. I think that's traumatic.
I think for normal people that aren't self-employed or work that have like a 9 to 5, never having a summer again would be kill. I say
the retire thing is hard though.
I would fuck the no longer being young because I do I know with that. Yeah, like I know getting old is a privilege. I know that. But I do look back and I'm like, oh shit, those were the best years. My dad always said college is the best 4 years of your life. You're going like soak it up, have fun, but also like be there to learn, but you're going to love it. And in the time I remember being like, it's like whatever, it's college. Looking back, you really don't have huge responsibilities yet. And that's why he would say it. You're not fully out, like huge responsibilities yet. You're not a full adult yet. Yeah. You do just get to like go to class, learn. My biggest regret is not really valuing the learning like an entitled little shit.
I do have regrets about that too. Yeah. I actually really like to learn, and I was being entitled about other stuff. So
we all like are in college. You're like, okay, let me get through class and just pass so I can like party. A lot of people are. But
I don't know though. Like I just never was able to enjoy college. I never had that. I think that's where I'm struggling with right now, is that like without getting fully into it, I think there are a lot of us out there that like there are way too many other family, emotional life things going on to actually be able to like live college like a college kid should be able to like live it.
Yeah.
I never got that. So now I think I'm stuck in this perpetuity of like craving any era of no responsibility, struggling with the fact that I'm actually never going to get it.
See, yeah, you always say like you finally have the space to be a kid. Do you feel like literally before high school, like your actual childhood, elementary, middle school, whatever,
was compromised?
I see. Those were my best years.
Yeah, that makes me happy for you. And I, there's no part of me that's like, you know, when I had to do this when I was a kid, I'm like, I'm so motivated that like people got to have that kind of experience, and I'll give that to my kids. I feel okay with it because I think that as life got better and as like family stuff got better, my parents made a retroactive, very significant effort to like make up for that later. Like when my mom came to visit, she like made dinner for us every night. Like that actually wasn't necessarily happening when I was like growing up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, like she, when I go home, she like does my laundry. Yeah.
See, my high school years were like shit. I look back on those and I'm like, it was like the movie 13. Like I needed to, something needed to happen. And I really think, we've said this before, it was like spurred by the divorce as I was going into high school.
Yeah.
But like my elementary and middle were great. So I got to be a kid there. But then I grew up quick.
I had this one day. I don't know if I've told this story in the podcast. It's not a long story. I just had this one day where I went to the beach with my friends, and I think that my mom like forgot about me that day. Like for some reason I just had nothing. No one asked me to do anything. There was like no time I had to be home to watch my sisters. There was like no time. Like I think they forgot about me. Like so fabulous. Like that one day at the beach where I was like with my friends, and then I remember getting off the beach and everyone was like, we're gonna go get like a burger from like Poe's. I was in 7th grade. And I remember being like, oh my God, like I can go with you though. And I was able to go instead of like having to go home to like do stuff. Yeah. And that was like the best day of my life. Like there was a significant day where I was like, I didn't actually have anything to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It just makes stuff kind of weird, I think. Okay. Next one. Fuck, marry, kill. Taxes. Coming back from a trip Sunday and going into the office Monday morning.
Ugh.
Or when your property taxes double, but you only have 30 days to get all the money.
I would kill taxes in general, just because they're too much. I would fuck coming back to a trip Sunday and going to the office Monday morning. Again, channeling my alter ego of still working full time, but that is true. That is the worst thing to have to do. And you do it all the time. Like after a bachelorette party, please. And then, I mean, I don't have property taxes yet, so I guess I'll marry that because like that sounds nice to even have those, to have property.
Yeah, but that's insane. Double in 30 days is almost worse than taxes.
Is like,
everybody's response was mortgage. I was like, damn, this does not make me excited.
Is the government okay? Like, why?
No. My dad texted me last night about, we asked our parents for advice that we'll give you guys in a second about how it will maybe adulting gets longer. First, my dad gave me good advice. Then he sent me an entire paragraph about how you will always run into financial problems because of the government.
No, like,
I was like, great.
They're so demanding. Like, can you chill, government?
No.
Like how dare you threaten me 30 days?
No, it's just like, sit the fuck down, Karen. No one asked you, okay? Yeah. Thank you so much. I didn't get a say in this rule.
Yeah, like it's just a lot.
Most of the people making the decisions will have no trouble paying their property taxes. Yeah. Literally, like, actually leave us alone.
All right. The next one, fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
The anxiety of being an adult but not ready to have kids yet.
Okay.
The anxiety of your parent or parents getting older.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing your siblings will never live in the same city again.
This one literally sucks. Okay, I'm going to marry the anxiety of being an adult but not ready to have kids yet, because this is something that I think that like I can deal with the longest without going insane. I feel like I'm going to... I'm going to
kill the anxiety of your parents getting older.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Because like, oh my God, yesterday I had the best conversation on the phone with my dad. It came out of nowhere, like actually spurred by this episode. And I was just like, everybody call your dad.
Yeah.
Like, call your freaking parents if they're both alive. Call your dad. Like, parents are just treasures. And then the thing I need to say it again. I say it every episode, but keep in mind your parents are doing life for the first time and you put them on a pedestal and they just need to let them live life.
Also, especially for any of my firstborn children, remember that it's like okay to tell your parents that like you're not okay. Like,
yes.
It's okay to say I'm stressed, because when I spoke to my dad yesterday and I was like, I advice, he was like, well, what's stressing you out? And he literally just sent me all of this encouragement, and I'm like, words of wisdom. And I'm like, I realized the reason I don't hear that from him is because I'm scared to tell him that I'm like stressed out about these things, because it makes me feel like I'm not doing a good job, and I want him to think that I'm doing a good job.
Yes, I know exactly how you feel. Well, and I feel like a lot of people with their parents might not have a very, not close relationship, because you can be still close without being sappy. Like, a lot of people just don't talk about deep feelings with their parents, especially dads. But when you do, when you actually go to your dad and you're like, hey, I have a dilemma I need your help with, you'd be surprised a lot of the times they'll be willing to just drop everything and help.
Any parent or like somebody that you look up to in general.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck, marry, kill. Credit card debt and living paycheck to paycheck. 2 sides of family obligations. Getting so overwhelmed at work that you have to go cry. Oh my God. I'm going to marry the cry one, because like I'm just going to cry regardless. I'm going to fuck the 2 sides of family obligations. Nobody warned me about how there is no right answer. Like, when you have to split holidays, when you have to spend all of your money flying to both person's families to go to all of their stuff, there's no right answer. You always miss something. Someone's always left out. Like, there's no days off. And then I'm going to kill the credit card debt and paycheck to paycheck.
That's stressful.
I don't know about you guys that don't live in New York. Every last person I know in New York, not every last one, we're all literally living in that same simulation. And I think it has taken years off of our life already.
I kill the credit card debt because that's my worst fear. I marry.
We feel too old for that, but it's like that's literally where we all are. It's so shit.
I marry 2 sides of family obligations because
really? You can deal with it.
I look at it as more of a blessing that you're like close to both sides.
Yeah.
And then I would fuck the getting so overwhelmed at work that you have to go cry. That's the worst thing ever. I've cried at work like just a handful of times, but
it's terrible. Like you have to you don't have to go lock yourself in the room. And do you guys have the call rooms?
This was more virtual after COVID.
Oh, I would have to do it like in the office.
Yeah. It's just like when you show another colleague at work that you have to cry, it's just like, it's like, oh, now we can't come back from this.
I never showed any. And when you work with a bunch of men, please get real. Like, you can't let your face get hot and cry.
Yeah, no. And then you feel stupid because you're like, it's
what were you crying over? I would cry when people were mean to me.
Yeah. I cried when one girl who was a bitch to everybody. But like a lot of us cried.
Oh, yeah. I had lots of those. I'm like, when you get so mad that you cry.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's such a terrible feeling. And you can't go home. It's like, bro, you have to go sit. You know the feeling of having to go sit at your desk and stare at your screen for like 15 minutes so that your eyes get unread and your face gets, and you're like praying to God nobody comes up to talk to you.
And you're not actually working, but you're just like pretending to
because you're like, I'm busy. I'm on do not disturb. Yeah. You are literally praying to all that exists. Please, no one come speak to me right now.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Thank God for virtual work.
Okay, last one. Fuck, marry, kill. Having to make appointments during literal business hours. Everything happens during business hours, but you're at work, so it just doesn't add up. Looking at your paycheck before and then after taxes.
Kill.
Wondering what the fuck you're supposed to cook for dinner every night.
Kill looking at your paycheck.
Yeah, that's
before and after
criminal.
Taxes.
I'll marry appointment. It's
like that's.
Well, actually, no. I take it back. No, I take that back.
There's been a lot of.
Because we have it privileged now, like we're fine now. But I remember going in.
Yeah, but I still somehow can't do things during business hours.
Yeah, so I recall when I would go in from like 9 to 6 or 6:30 or whatever, and this would make me so mad. I would call my mom. How am I supposed to survive when like I need to do dry cleaning, but the dry cleaner is open from 10 to 4, but I'm at my desk, or I can't go to the dentist without getting yelled at or taking PTO.
Yeah. That's why like jobs need to chill and let us live. But it's the little things. It's like I've been meaning to do dry cleaning. I've been meaning to ship a package. It's those things, especially the USPS, like the government run things that are open from like No, the 11 to
minimal.
2.
Yeah.
It's like,
we just need to adopt the European hour of like the 2-hour lunch break, because if we're getting real, Americans would not use that to just go sit and have a 2-hour lunch. We would get shit done. Like, people would go change their laundry. They would mail their packages. They would hit whatever appointment they had to do. If they needed a haircut, they would do that. Because John has to get up at 5 a.m. to go get his haircut before work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too much.
So, okay.
All right. I think we should do it. This was an idea you had, which was honestly so good. I think everybody listening should text their parents and say this.
Yeah.
I think we should go into our advice from our family members about adulthood.
So we texted adults in our life that we look up to, and we asked them, since you were having a hard time adulting at this moment, we said, is there anything about getting older and becoming an adult more that sucks less or gets better over time?
Yeah, when I first sent the sucks less, they were like, whoa. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, my dad said that too.
What as you're becoming as more of an adult gets better over time? And they were like more receptive to that one.
So, which is so adult of them. Okay.
But it's just so funny because, okay, you go first and read yours.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through my no conversation. Because this really, after reading all the responses, having our own feelings, even playing this game, it is feeling a little disheartening because we're in the beginning of adulthood. And this actually put like a little light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. And we don't know what we're doing, so don't ask us for advice.
And your families are so you and mine are so mine.
I read them. The women all said... Most of the women said the same thing, and I think it's really interesting. Okay, let's get into it. I texted my mom, and she said, it sucks less to go places solo. It sucks less to be the only one with a different opinion. It sucks less to put myself out there, and it sucks less to do almost anything. And I think by that, she means like chores, like just tasks, like that you find ways to enjoy them more, like over time.
The going places solo is a true one you don't think about.
I agree.
I don't get embarrassed to go. I used to get so embarrassed to like go to a coffee shop alone. When I was little.
Yeah.
Younger.
Little. Okay. My Aunt Stephanie, this is the most realistic answer that we got. So I'm going to, about like actual stressors, and it ends with a good perspective. So I'm just going to blow through the whole thing. She said there are things, but they are always short-lived or overshadowed by other stressors. Example, the baby will sleep through the night and you feel like you can conquer the world, but they soon become mobile and you have so much less free time while you're awake because you have to make sure they don't kill themselves. Then they're old enough to leave it. I mean, my friends with kids, like it's like one accomplishment is sort of coupled with a new stressor. Then she says, then they're old enough to leave at home alone, so it makes errands and planning so much easier. But that comes at a time when their problems are bigger, friend drama, school assignments, or you start having to manage your own parents' issues. So I never felt like there was any real gain. The hamster wheel keeps turning, and I feel like my agenda is just as full. This is realistic because it could be an effect of having multiple kids, which a lot of us want, and an effect of both parents working, which is honestly like most of our realities. One thing that has come easier for me is to stand up for myself a lot better than I used to and advocate for what I need. Maybe I finally feel old enough to have an opinion or thought that registers as an adult. Maybe I'm finally not self-conscious. Maybe I don't have time to go back to the drawing board, so I just take care of business in the moment. I would have said that about myself 10 years ago, but I don't think it would have been true.
Did she text this?
Uh-huh. No, she's great.
Like, that's insane.
But she's positive but realistic. And I think that's the thing is, like, those examples she gave are like, this is actually the reality of parenthood. Yeah. But there are, like, emotional, glimmers philosophical things that get better.
Right. And there's glimmers of, accomplishments, but they are met with challenges.
Yeah, and I think that's real. My Aunt Angie said, you're more confident in who you are and care less about what people think. It's freeing. And as a surprise twist, my hip replacement was a nice forced vacation. So I took that as sometimes ailments also bring blessings.
Good perspective.
And then lastly, my Aunt Deirdre said, I feel proud of the job I did raising my children with the help of my family. I'm confident in myself and know that I deserve to focus on myself now that both are moving forward in their own lives. It is difficult. And it does get better once you can really focus on yourself after working hard as a mom and working hard in the workplace.
Oh, I love that. That's like a good thing to look forward to as an empty nester.
There's a huge, I lost my words just now, but there's a huge freaking theme with the confidence in women.
Yeah.
As they get older.
I like that Deirdre I love that name.
Yeah.
I like that Deirdre said working on yourself after, because I feel like I always get I'm like, oh God, okay, I'm going to raise my kids, send them off to college, they'll move out, and then like I'll probably give up by then. Like I'll be old. And I could imagine a lot of adults feel like that too, but it's like, no, you still have time. Work on yourself.
I also want to say what my dad said really quickly. I bypassed it, but he said this to when I said the question in the suck format, but it is true. And I think it just offers a little bit of now perspective. He said, life doesn't suck. You really need to enjoy the here and now, because it will go faster than you can imagine. And he always says this, like, you really need to focus on the good things, because one day when you're out of it, you're going to be like, I wish I enjoyed that positive thing of that moment more than I relished in the negative thing of that moment.
I need to employ that. And
here's a tip that he has taught me my whole life and I've continued to ignore. So I'll just share it with the world. I really don't listen to this, but I need to. One of the hardest lessons to learn in life and keep from relearning is to save money in the good times, because winter is coming. That is true. I've seen it happen in my family many, many times, and I've seen it happen in my own life. Save money in the good times because winter is coming.
Yeah, you might be rich now, but just wait. Okay, we got to get to my families, because they're so on brand for me and my family. So Caroline sent paragraphs. Mine are quick.
I didn't send it. They sent it.
No, I'm saying your families. And it's just so funny because, okay, so my dad, first of all, didn't answer. I was going to say my dad, NA, not applicable.
I had to, my mom's answer was all of the things she hated about life. And I said, this is the world.
Oh, so you course corrected. I didn't course correct. I got authentic.
No. If I had put her stuff in there, like, it would have made me cry. It was like about going through divorce.
Negative as fuck.
No, she was like the divorce and then this divorce and then raising the children. But then I had you. So I was like, literally, I was like, that was not the question, Grace.
Yeah.
Do you want to be part of the poll or not? Like, how does it get better?
Yeah. So my family, we don't get deep ever. So I called my dad and I'm like, Dad, you didn't answer the question in the group chat. First of all, for context, I put it in my Italian fam group chat, which is all my New York Italian family, like his 3 sisters, a bunch of cousins. A couple people answered. I called my dad. I was like, you never answered the question. And he was like, what are you talking about? Like, that's so him. He just doesn't read texts. He was going to a plastic surgery conference in San Diego. So he was like, which I'm super proud of him for, by the way. And he was just like rushing. And he was just like, I guess like decision making gets easier. And I was like, I feel like it doesn't.
Well, we don't know yet.
Yeah, I would really love to. I feel like your decisions get harder.
No, I think your decisions get harder, but the decision you making the right decision probably gets easier.
That's what he meant.
The decisions you have to make are probably larger, but being able to, and that goes with what all the women are saying, is like you're more confident in yourself and your decisions.
Right. So
like how much time do I spend stressing about what the right answer, what to do?
Yeah. The right decision.
God,
because you know yourself, you know what you want, you know what you're supposed to do. Yeah.
I spend most of my time weighing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And then Jenna's was shot it back right away. You run out of fucks to give the older you get, which is so true.
That's literally in line with all the women.
Yeah, like getting more confident.
Like they don't care.
My brother's him. So my brother and dad are the same person. Very like men of few words, but the kindest, best people you'll ever meet. I texted him on the side for his because I did want his because he's so wise. And he, of course, didn't see the group chat either. And I was like, what? I asked him the question and he goes, credit score.
Great.
Which is answer. Honestly a good answer.
I hope that's true for me.
My Aunt Carol goes, well, you get more comfortable and confident with who you are and your beliefs. You care less about what other people think. And then she goes, oh, I have another one. Acne gets better. Which I sure hope it does, because honestly, I've been getting older year by year and it hasn't improved. But hers was more about the comfortable and confident. Aunt Gina goes, I think your life improves with age, which is honestly just refreshing to hear. You become more confident and comfortable with who you are. I try to be more positive now and focus on making myself better friends, making time for people. Love that. Experiencing new things and new places. Look good, feel good, do good. These are my fun, aunts. You just have to know them.
Your aunts are great. Like, my aunt's like the hip replacement. I'm like,
no. Great. Mine are, they talk about 3 women that stay young forever. These are them. They're 3 sisters. My dad's 3. And then this was my favorite one. So my Aunt Jackie is so funny. You guys have seen her. If you follow me on Instagram, she's the main character there. She's so feisty, this feisty Italian woman, but also like the sweetest woman you'll ever meet. And hers was so on brand because she didn't actually answer the question. She kind of just gave like life advice and goes, don't sweat the small stuff. Be grateful every day and believe love is the highest power in the universe. With the heart. And the little squigglies in the text were my favorite.
That's kind of like what my dad said, but I'm gonna say, because I think that one thing they didn't tell us, but they tell us in everyday life, which your Aunt Jackie said, the things that we think are really big deals right now are not. My mom keeps saying to me, you think you're in the trenches? You're not. She's like, doesn't matter. Fine. She's like, it literally will work out. You think this is life ending, and I know it feels that way.
That's why I love advice from the elders.
Yeah, they're like, it's later you're going to be like, why did I spend so much time stressing about it? And right now I'm like, I can't imagine thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
But like, they've lived more life than us, so whatever.
Yeah. And then Ben, my brother-in-law, late 30s, so sort of an elder, he said, patience improves as you get older, especially after having kids. And then he was like, oh, also with your spouse too. And
Does he have a patience issue?
Well, no, he's the most patient person ever. So I guess, I don't know if he used to not be, but that's true, I guess. Like, I have noticed, like, I'll be over there and I'll be so overstimulated because my nephews are so loud. The dog is barking. Everything's, like, going on in the house. The noises truly overstimulate me like crazy. I'm like, I can't, how do you guys do this? Or, like, the kids we'll be trying to get out the door and one kid will be futzing over getting his sock on. The other will want his stuffed animal upstairs. And I'm like, guys, come on, get your kids into action. And Jenna and Ben are like, trust me, you'll see with toddler, like, you've got to just be patient. Like, the toddlers are like, no, I want to wear the blue socks instead of the green. And it's like, I think that's what he means. Like, you just get more patient. And then Heather, my cousin's wife, just like chimed in, love her, mom of two. She was like, and I really liked this one. She goes, it's easier to mind your own business. Not my family, not my problem. Which, for us that like to gossip and yap, I really do think you get a lot more happy of a person and confident when you stop worrying about others and things you can't control and stop gossiping. Like, I went through a gossip issue in high school when I was a crazy girl. And I noticed, like, I was just happier on my and more confident about myself when I wasn't talking about other people in a negative way.
True. And I think that's just a life lesson. But I think that one is really great to apply to what most of us as like newly married people are going through, the stress of combining families. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a lot of like input that we get a lot in our in-laws episodes, etc. Combining family stuff. When you have a bunch of people that believe different things, that are acting a different way, that we're all like stressed about it. We're all like, all of us, like, I know all of us are sitting here like, what am I supposed to do about this? How am I supposed to talk to this person? What if they do this? And how does that affect me? Like, I like that advice. It's easier to mind your own business, not my family, not my problem. Like, I think for her, she means like in realm of her husband and her kids. So like, everything else to her is like white noise, and it's nice to know that we'll all get there.
Yeah, that's such a true point. Like, you are going to probably marry into a family that does things differently than you do with your own.
Yeah.
And you may not agree with it, but even though they are your distant relatives, it's not your family.
Right.
So like, let them be. Don't try to change them.
Okay, guys. Well, we hope this episode was helpful to you. Next week, we're going to talk about some like Halloween costume ideas too, I think.
Yes.
It's Nikki's favorite holiday.
I need to decide what I'm doing for Halloween.
A party in your new apartment.
I mean, there will be one chair.
Okay, we love you guys so much. Happy October. Happy beginning of fall. We will see you next week. And I hope that this episode made you feel a little bit less alone and encouraged, because I needed it and that's what I got from it. So
pay your taxes.
Yeah, if you can. Bye guys. See you next week.